As per the Constitution's 7th schedule, the power to establish and supervise the state universities rests with the state governments, and the UGC's role should be limited to setting standards for higher education, and that too in consultation with the universities. The draft regulations 2025 not only sideline the role of state governments, which contribute 80% of funding for state universities, but also undermine the democratic functioning of the universities. Apart from this, the UGC draft regulations contain more objectionable provisions regarding the appointment of vice chancellors relating to the minimum academic qualifications prescribed for being appointed as vice chancellors. According to the present draft regulations, persons without much academic expertise can be appointed as vice chancellors. Persons from the private sector, industrial or commercial backgrounds, or public administrators with a minimum 10 years experience can be appointed as vice chancellors. The move to dilute the academic qualifications required for vice chancellorship may adversely affect the academic excellence of the universities, and such proposals may lead to further commercialization of higher education, decreasing its integrity, ultimately sabotaging academic freedom and critical thinking. Apart from this, the appointment of assistant professors also is being threatened with similar prospects, as the minimum academic qualifications are not compulsory, and any person with some experience in any field can be professors of practice. Similar kind of vagueness is visible in the provisions related to contractual appointments, guest faculty, and visiting faculty. The UGC has authority to determine the qualification of academic staff, but to intrude into the process of selection and appointment, including that of vice chancellor, is not only a dilution of the autonomy of the universities and the powers of the states, but also a direct act of violation of the federal principles underlying the Indian Constitution. It is important to note that recently UGC has started to retreat from its initial responsibilities prescribed at the formation of that body, namely providing grants and support to enhance quality. And instead, it has started to exert rigorous regulations which can be seen as part of a scheme for centralization from the part of the central government. UGC has withdrawn from its birth principle of providing grants and guidelines, has become a surrogate system of power. Its craving is indicated by the inclusion of a punitory clause at the end of the draft regulations, which promises debarring from offering degree programs, debarring from participating in UGC schemes, and debarring from offering ODL programs as consequences for non-compliance. Whether the respective state governments have consented to adopt the scheme or not, all higher education institutions are supposed to comply with these regulations, failing which they will face punitive consequences. It is evident from the propositions of the draft UGC regulations that UGC is being used as a mere instrument in facilitating ideological infiltration and ensuring a congenial environment for spreading the ideas upheld by the central government, thereby paving the way for political dominance. It is important to remember in this context that the attacks against the diversity and pluralism of our country and its secular ethos acquire more and more momentum day by day. Whether the respective state governments have consented to adopt the schemes or not, all higher education institutions are supposed to comply with these regulations, failing which they will face punitive consequences. The draft UGC Regulations 2025 can be viewed not only as an attempt to undermine democratic values in the field of higher education, but also to relegate it into the clutches of those who spread regressive ideas. For the last few years, the UGC has been constantly intervening in the affairs of universities and colleges, overstepping its mandate and adopting thoroughly unconstitutional positions. This is dangerous as it can easily expand into other areas and encompass a larger field of constitutional action. Kerala government and its people consider it as our responsibility to safeguard the federal rights of the state and the quality of the state's higher education institutions. The representatives of other states, honorable ministers from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Telangana, and other officials from the other states are here with us to join their hands in this attempt to resist possible dangers posed by the UGC draft regulations. This is not a mere attempt to save higher education from degeneration, but a part of a larger struggle against forces that attempt to undermine the rights of the states and their people and the variety and diversity of our nation. Let us unitedly urge upon the UGC and the Union government to withdraw the draft UGC Regulation 2025 and to continue the earlier ways of cooperation, collaboration, and mutual respect. Once again, extending my sincere gratitude to all of you for ensuring your participation and support in this mission